So, for anybody that has ever gotten a reading from any reader or a reader that you've been pulled to, drawn to, or compelled to read the energy for you, you absolutely have some type of spiritual contract with that person, be it good, bad, and or indifferent. So the advantage for the reader, the oracle, or the person that is opening up spiritual doors for you by way of doing divination, this grants them an opportunity to settle the debt. How they treat you in the most vulnerable times of your life, when you come to them seeking some type of solace or just clarification on what's happened, seeking guidance, they can hurt you, harm you, hex you. But the choice is theirs. Hopefully, they decide to take the higher side of things and they do right by you by way of settling the karmic debt. If you've ever gotten a reading from somebody, this is somebody that could absolutely be a familiar spirit, depending on what pulls you towards that person, or they can be a kindred soul. Let's get into it. Welcome to Spiritual Court TV. If you're new here, welcome. If you're returning back, what's good? I'm so glad you came back yet again. Thank you for the loves, the likes, the hypes, the shares, all the good comments. I am eternally grateful. Yeah, listen, this is an opportunity to satisfy a contract. Nobody really is anybody that you've never known before, right? Something always seems very much like a deja vu. I feel like I know you. I feel compelled to get a reading from you, right? There's always a spiritual contract that is in the workings, okay? So if you've gone to a reader and they didn't do you a justice of helping you to be guided to your higher self, they're under divine judgment for that. Why? Because some of these readers wanted to put you in confusion because they didn't want you to settle the karmic debt. Some of them know that you won't come back here again. Just imagine this is your last time. You're simply passing through, and finally you figure it out, and you ascend to those higher realms by way of source, and you don't have to reincarnate here because you don't have any karmic debt. Well, what happens to the person that is on the receiving end of that contract that's supposed to do you a justice this lifetime? Well, they get stuck in a karmic loop. But the next time, they don't get to settle the debt with you because you didn't return. You didn't resurrect. It's a once in a lifetime type of an opportunity to do right by you. Some of these people have a very deep ancient history with you. Some of them are still harboring some type of resentment. You got dark empaths that reincarnated just to take people out, just to come back to wreak havoc again. So if you figure it out, that means that you don't exist in their timeline. So if they reincarnate, you're not there for them to settle the debt. They have an obligation to you. Everybody that you choose as a reader, you have some type of spiritual contract with. Well, you achieved your goals this time. So if they didn't get a chance to settle the debt with you, and as you were ascending, you ascended past them, when they reincarnate with all that debt, you won't be there to satisfy it, okay? Somebody did voodoo on you. It backfired, okay? So if you got a reading from a reader, they absolutely created a doll of you. They instantly recognized you from some type of past life beef, okay? This person could be going through a lot of turmoil, backfire, because you've achieved your goals. That means that you've ascended. You satisfied the contract. You went in as meek as a lamb. You said, yes, I'd like to get a reading. I just need to know what's going on around me. I feel like I'm ascending. I just need to know. This person immediately recognized you from a previous life and they immediately went to work, okay? They know. They don't know how they know, but sometimes they know that they know and they feel this need to destroy you. So you got voodoo in the reverse. It backfired. Destruction backfired. Whoever these readers are that took advantage of you in a very, very innocent way, like you were in a very vulnerable. Thank you, Spirit. That's the right word. Is that the right terminology? Vulnerable? Innocent? Yeah, you're vulnerable when you allow somebody to open up spiritual doors on you. Absolutely. Okay. Somebody wanted to mirror your energy. Because how dare you? How dare you be a master this lifetime? Okay, and not go into this karmic contract with me. So some type of voodoo was supposed to bind you into some type of destruction so that you would not be able to master yourself as an ascended master. Yeah, I just heard it's a once in a lifetime type thing. Yeah, this person is crazy. Something about your spirit team guiding you away from this destruction. Whatever happened in previous lifetimes, whatever this person was successful in doing, guiding you down the wrong path, they weren't able to do that this time. Your spirit guide said you will remember that you know that you will remember which way to go and you won't go that way this time. So that narrative, that deja vu never played out. Karmic feminine energy, okay? Could be a karmic spiritualist, a karmic reader, a dark witch, somebody that's a dark empath. They can feel darkness in people and they use it to weaponize it against them. Clarify this dark empath, these readers. Okay, I can't make it up. Wow, somebody went right to work. Somebody did death magic on you immediately. Why? Because they knew the moment you asked for a reading, you never needed them. Somebody knows that you're more powerful than them. They know that this is the lifetime that you get it right. And they did not want that for you because they've not successfully figured a way out of the loop. Yeah. Somebody that keeps coming back to clear their debt, they forget and then they just acquire more debt. So what happens when the soul mission is over and you chose to want to sin beyond their whack ass magic? Well, you're not available to settle the karmic debt. Clarify. It's an inconvenience for them. Okay. It really is. Somebody is blocked. This came up in the reverse though. So you're no longer blocked from moving forward. Why did that come up in the reverse, Holy Spirit? Yeah, you're no longer blocked. Somebody's trying to block you with death magic, voodoo, destruction, Jezebel, nasty, something, whatever. This did not block you from being single, successful, and absolutely attractive, okay? Because your spirit team was like, I need you to remember we did this the last lifetime. You're not going to go down that road again. You took a very serious spiritual oath that when you reincarnated back into this life on purpose, that you would fulfill your purpose. This person was leading you to death and endings because they wanted you to reincarnate so that you could be born back into their toxic ass bloodline. These witches are so crazy, but you mastered self love. Look at you out here living your good life, living your best life. I just heard, I'm living my best life. I ain't going back and forth with you, witches. We're not going back and forth on this lifetime timeline. It's a hell to the no. Clarify, this person could be giving you the evil eye. Something drew you to this person, okay? Because there's a spiritual contract there, spiritual debt. And when you went in and you paid for a reading and you satisfied the karmic debt, this person immediately tried to render you some type of an injustice because this is what they're known for, okay? They've done this every single lifetime. Nothing's changed about this person, but you decided to change directions and you went a different way. So this lifetime, they didn't get a chance to destroy you. So that changes the whole quantum field. They don't even know what else is going on outside of that. Okay. Clarify, this reader that you went and got a reading from. This person was supposed to help you and they abused their power. Instead, they wanted to see you beat up, battered, and bruised because this person immediately felt intimidated by you. This is a witch that you've been whooping her ass for many, many lifetimes. I just heard thousands of years. Clarify, this an old ass, ancient ass whooping that somebody's getting now. Yeah, you manifested your way up out of that. You called your power back. You satisfied the contract. Okay. So if this person opened up a spiritual door to flip the cards for you or do any type of energy reading, whatever this is, I just heard Reiki. Okay. Somebody could have been abusing Reiki through photographs, okay, to draw your energy towards destruction or something like that. The moment you ascended past this eliminated this person. This satisfied the karmic debt. There's no debt to be paid here, okay? So what happens? You now take a different route. You're now not tricked up by this person. You've eliminated this person off of your quantum realm field. And now what happens? What happens to this karmic feminine? You get to move forward. Yeah, I can't make this up. There's somebody that wanted to take your wings. Somebody wanted to snip your wings. Somebody wanted to be the earth angel. This could have been a form of destiny swap or binding into your destiny so that they would just kind of be like a tag along energy, something in the background causing you misery, and that never happened. I can make it up. Somebody wanted to bind you. Bondage. They wanted you stuck on old timelines. They wanted you to remember the last lifetimes that they were able to trick you. And when you reincarnated, you made a very specific request to your higher self. You said, once I get to this point, I hope to remember what it is that I don't need to do anymore. And so you didn't do that. Something was right on time by way of you disconnecting from this person. Okay, this karmic feminine is feeling frustrated, angry, in conflict. That's what I just heard. Oh, she's in big animosity. Good for her. I hope that shit eat her up. I hope that shit eat her ass alive. How did she die? Well, she died of animosity. Yeah, endings. Why? Because you've awakened. You know exactly who you are. You don't believe anymore. You when you went towards this reader, and you asked them to do a reading for you, you were under a belief system. You were suffering from religious PTSD and maybe even spiritual PTSD. Maybe you had seen several readers that were carrying the same Jezebel spirit. These are familiar contracts, familiar spirits. They remind you of something. Maybe you couldn't put your finger on it, but the moment that you awakened, you decided to take your power and go in a direction, and you avoided a tower unnecessary. This person was very, very unassuming. This person came off helpful, right? But really, they wanted to recreate a narrative using what they've always used. But listen, something about your good karma. When you spent the block this lifetime, you really didn't have any karmic debt. You just came to settle the score and give people an opportunity to settle their karmic debt with you. You were born free of karmic debt. This entity has been traveling through lifetimes. It's so tired, it's so raggedy, it's so dead. Don't nobody give a damn about it. Listen, you reincarnated to give people an opportunity to settle the debt with you. Damn, you sure did. Oh, you think you're perfect. Oh, you think you're the divine feminine. Oh, you think that you're better than me. Yeah, we do. We're better than this. We're better than death magic. We're better than endings and animosity and Jezebel tendencies and abuse and voodoo in the reverse and playing the victim and kissing the victimizer in the mouth and sitting down with them and feeling bad for narcissists that can't feel a damn thing, that are under some type of destructive curse and have been since the beginning of time. Yeah, we're better than that. They know we're better than that. This is why they admit to themselves, oh, you think you're better than me? This is what they say. They know it. They know we are. Okay, you came back to allow these people to settle the debt. Had this person done right by you, they could have entered into a new spiritual contract under divine protection. But instead, they saw you in your most vulnerable state, going through your awakening, and they decided to try to keep you asleep. Then they decided to take you out with the spirit of animosity and unalive you with death magic. Well, that shit's not going to work. These people were supposed to settle their debt with you. So now you get all of their abundance. Now you get their power. Now you get their gifts. Well, we didn't take anything. They gave it up. That's what the terms and conditions were in the spiritual contract this time around. This lifetime. Thank you, Spirit. Let there be no cutting off of my say. Okay. Abundance. Somebody. Yep. You gave these people an opportunity. It's so funny because on a lot of these encounters, it's like the Most High God hid you in plain sight, made you look very, very weak and vulnerable when in fact you're more powerful than this entire situation. And you remembered right at the right time by way of your awakening. This person set up and gives you the evil eye. In fact, they can't stop thinking about you. They burn candles all day. Okay. Needless to say, you're in the North Node. You're a boss. Okay. These people are kicking themselves in the arse. They're going to end up in a hearse with that death magic on that ass. Clarify these people. What's going on with that death magic? Destruction? Yeah, I can't make it up. Well, it seems as though it has aided and assisted you in awakening to your power. So, how did this person's magic and what they projected onto you in your most vulnerable state? When you told them to do a reading for you and open a door, they kept the door open. You know, everybody knows that when we're doing readings, you're supposed to close those doors respectfully and show thanks and gratitude to the spirit realm for allowing you to channel the messages, right? Somebody left the door open. Somebody's like, I got to keep an eye on you. They've been keeping an eye on you. And then they kept an eye on you and saw that you were ascending, and they decided that they were going to throw a monkey wrench. That was the worst idea. That was the beginning of their own destruction. You ended up rising so fast that nothing that they do now has any effect on you, and all they can do is watch. Some of them can't even see you. They think they see you. They think they know what's going on in your life. You're the rising star in the North Node, Earth angel manifesting whatever it is that you want. You're enamored because you're attracting all good things, divinely protected. What are you protected by? Self-love. That's what's protecting you. Single, successful, unbothered, peaceful, not unhinged, and something about abundance and wealth. I can't make this up. Boss energy, divine masculine energy, divine feminine energy. I feel like whoever this karmic feminine is, she's done this to a lot of people. Okay. Her goal is to make people cold. She wants them exempt from divine providence. That's a bad idea. Translation, that's really demonic. Clarify what's going on, Spirit. Well, spiritual court is now in session. Somebody says that you could be the prosecutor or you're the defendant. This person thought for a minute that they were the devil's advocate until the devil played that ass out. Clarify what's going on, Holy Spirit. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got, ain't nobody got, ain't nobody got time for that. This is this person's current energy, this karmic feminine, this Jezebel that was using forbidden voodoo. They swore that they would not do dark magic this lifetime, and they went right into the devil's den, doing what was familiar to them, what they were accustomed to. This person signed a contract that they were supposed to remember, that they were supposed to do right by you, and instead they went down the same route. They didn't do anything new up under the sun. Now, a lot of these people pride themselves on being able to get a new body and just reincarnating again. They don't know that the spiritual laws have been amended. As we petitioned the high table, as we had a conversation with the divine, we told the divine, we don't want these raggedy, dirty foot ass bastards ever being able to reincarnate again. Send them to a very special place, tailored fit, to fit their nasty ass narratives of abuse and nasty ass death magic. Since they like playing in death magic, we'll just send them towards death eternally, right? So now, because usually they'll say, well, I'll just reincarnate again. You know what I'm saying? I'll just go ahead and come back. It doesn't matter if you take me out. I'm going to get another body. Ain't nobody giving birth to these devils. There's no divine feminine energies that are giving birth to these devils. They can't jump a portal. That means they can't choose a feminine to be born through. They need a karmic masculine and a karmic feminine lustful in order to reincarnate by way of their dark ass bloodline. And now that you have higher vibrational beings giving birth to earth angels, there's no dark ass, demonic ass bloodlines that are going to give birth to their darkness. So what does that mean? Okay, well, they're exiled. Most High God says, I got a tailored fit place for them. I've actually been privy to see that realm. I swear on everything I love. Most High God showed me. I said, damn. All I can tell you is that it's constant destruction. Yeah, it's crazy. Most High God showed me. Okay. And I saw them just being like, I'm like, what the hell is this? Now I've seen levels of hell. I've seen levels of hell. Okay. In previous lifetimes. Because most of us have to go through those levels in order to get to this high vibration. And this is what encourages us to not go towards familiar spiritual contracts and destructive patterns and behaviors that we refuse to stop being redundant in. Something's like over and over. At some point, it's like, let me out of this. I'm not doing this over and over and over and over. I need to find a way out. I am a life path number 9. Doing this for the last time or the first time, just passing through is once in a lifetime. That's what I just heard. Just random information. Yeah, we came through with love. These people were supposed to remember and they did not. Okay. Now they're in poverty. Now they're in confusion and illusion because that's what happens when the voodoo backfires. That's what happens. That's what it looks like when destruction comes upon somebody's life that was supposed to do right by you. When you went to get that reading, she never closed the door. She kept an eye on you for years. Clarify, I can't make it up. And she watched you come into full bloom, remembering who you are, making room for your higher self, expanding your territory prophetically by way of self-love. You vowed to never go back and get a reading from her because she broke the oath. She was supposed to figure it out this time. She chose to be a Jezebel. What she did not see, though, is that this was the last time that the Jezebel would reign on any timeline, meaning they can't reincarnate again because their ancestors have been eliminated and we're not giving birth to no devils. Come on now. We got high frequency people that are giving birth to gods. You seen these new babies, these earth angel babies? We're giving birth to divinity. Yeah, just like that. Yeah, that's divine alchemy. We're giving birth to sweethearts. I can't make it up. Two high vibrational beings co-creating intentionally, intimately, creating and giving birth to gods, divine gods. Spirit just says these people are in ruin for what they did. Honestly, can I be honest? Just a side note, commercial break. I haven't had a commercial break in a really long time. If you're new and you want to know what a commercial break is, well, congratulations. This is what it is. This is when I just kind of put my 2 cents in. I don't like to influence the reading, but honestly, can I just be real with y'all? We really do not give any damns. We have no more damns to give about these people. Why are these people being written in the history books of spirituality? Because they are an example of what happens when you reincarnate. You do the same thing over and over. You go further and further and further away from your divine oath to the point where the Creator says, I can't use you anymore. This is what it looks like when the devil's been defeated and or eliminated, eternally falling from grace. Because when this person realized who you were, they immediately recognized a familiar pattern by way of a past lifetime. That was their opportunity to remember as you were coming along as somebody who seemingly needed help, but really you were the lesson, you were the assignment, you were honestly hidden in plain sight. This person was supposed to do right by you. They saw who you were. They can't say they did not know who you were. They saw that you would ascend to a high state of being, that this would be the time that you would go into this energy of mastery. And so they went to work. Why? Because their fate had already been decided. Before you met this reader, this oracle, or seemingly an oracle, this is a dark empath, okay? They're not an oracle. Oracles are very divine. When you met this person, somebody was supposed to be an oracle. Thank you, Spirit. It's a dark high priestess that was supposed to use their gifts for good, and they did not. Okay? It's supposed to be an oracle. That's the Spirit just says. Okay, so when they found out who you were, they went to work on the voodoo. They went to work on the doo-doo, on the shoe-doo. Somebody's shoes got doo-doo on it. Somebody's been walking in shit. Somebody smells like shit. Somebody's breath is shitty because they keep talking shit to a voodoo doll that's now taking them on a field trip. Unfortunately, they didn't see that coming. That's crazy. That's what I just heard. Listen, the commercial break is over, I think. I feel like at this point it's just a monologue being narrated by the divine, however you want to see it. But this person is obsessed because now they've missed their spot. So obsession is what they will be submerged in. Somebody does voodoo for everything, child. Everything, honey. They're obsessed with your pathway. They can't stop watching. Somebody went from hating you to realizing that they were supposed to come to a high level commitment with you. And they feel like in this really weird way that their voodoo caused you some type of an awakening. They want to take credit for you rising in self-love. In fact, honestly, truth be told, that very well could be the case. Because had you not met somebody so dark in nature, you would not have gone into the light as much as you did. You would not have awakened. This person taught you that everybody should not open doors up to your energy. But their level of obsession to destroy you was never meant to help you. It was meant to destroy you, but instead it awakened you. But this person sits back in a very condescending way, conceding that, well, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be on your pathway. You needed to go through hate to get to love. You had to be humbled. Humbled to what? Humbled to the spiritual contract. And somebody fell asleep and forgot what the spiritual contract was about. They forgot what the contract was about. You were supposed to work with this person. You were supposed to share your gifts with humanity. The both of you were supposed to be divine oracles. Somebody took the dark road. This is like an evil twin soulmate, feminine. Okay, that's what this is. Dark empath, dark contracts. There's so many intricate details to this person's darkness that nobody's interested in even reading the energy. It's been casted out. Something about your spiritual gift. So now they're obsessed with your spiritual gift. Yeah, this person was not supposed to show you hate in order to help you awaken. In fact, they were supposed to be on the same timeline as you. So they went the opposite way. Clarify the karmic feminine, Jezebel, destruction, voodoo backfired. Yeah, that shit backfired real bad. Whatever they were sending towards you, I just heard baneful magic. Somebody wanted you to hurt yourself, okay? This person is about to get messed up. This is current energy. Clarify this is what happened. Opposition. Spirit said, we remove the opposition and the destruction out of your way, chosen one, the confusion and the illusions, and we put it exactly where it's supposed to be. So there's a karmic feminine stuck in a death magic spell or some type of chaos realm that's spent around with this Tasmanian devil ass energy, destruction, endings. Something about them losing in spiritual court. This person wanted to be the devil's advocate, but the devil fired them long ago. The devil says, I can't use you anymore. Damn. How dark you got to be? How messed up do you have to be? How much do you have to fail when you make a deal with the devil and the devil fires you? The devil's like, yeah, you've been released. You're no longer a disciple of Lucifer. That's crazy business. Listen, you can't get hired nowhere. Confusion and illusions. That means that whatever access they had to the darker realms by way of conjuring, their access has been cut off. The devil has cut them off. And you're no longer blocked. With blocked in the reverse. Somebody tried to cross your road so that you would come back to them, so they could destroy you. Yeah, this person was aware. This is why the karma is so hard. This is why the charges against this karmic feminine is so heavy, because they knew better. They weren't asleep to the reality of who you are and what they were supposed to do with you. But instead, they're like, I'll just take you out. You'll reincarnate. I'm going to unalive you. You got to loop around again and figure yourself out again. And hopefully you come back and you don't remember who you are. Well, that didn't happen. The alternate scenario by way of this destruction never occurred. And somebody's in heavy animosity about that. Yeah, that's crazy. This is a thief. Somebody tried to take your spiritual gifts. Bind into it, clarify. Now they're in poverty and they don't know what to do. They're screaming at the doll. They're kicking the wall. They're talking to the jinns. They're playing with the demons. The devil has fired them. They're no good in the dark realm and their magic is weak. There's somebody that's like, yeah, I'm about that word. I know how to do that work. My words are powerful. And if I speak it, it's going to happen. Now they words ain't got no power. They words ain't never had no power. Because if they had power, you wouldn't be what you gives. Good karma, single, sexy, self-love, enamored with life, manifesting your beautiful earth angel life as a rising star, per usual, as you should, because you took the high road and you answered the call by way of your pathway in the north node with abundance and protection. These are the perks because you are the high priestess that has been activated in your own divinity. And that's just what it is. You are the divine feminine. Well, this does conclude this message. What happened to the karmic feminine? Nobody really knows. Only God knows what's going on, and the devil has fired them. Nobody's interested. This does conclude this message. As I close this door, we seal it, we shut it. It has been spoken over, it has been divined over. This is the truth as far as the Creator allowed me to see. I declare and decree that this case, the spiritual court case, has been settled on all timelines. Chosen one, you are karmically debt free of whoever this weird ass person is that you trusted. Needless to say, I love y'all, okay? Hype us up over here, give this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, as always, peace be with you.